Okay, welcome. This is the Wolf and Clown podcast. This is episode 11. We're super excited to talk to Gambi, the owner of the Brantford Smoke. So welcome, Gambi.
Welcome, man. You have anything you want us to call you? You all right with Gambi? You all right with that?
Well, my real name's Aaron. I go by Aaron. Gambi's like an old nickname I had growing up as a kid and playing sports.
Okay.
My last name's Gambi, so that was kind of a natural
okay,
name, you know. So, yeah, Aaron, Gambi. I only have a few close friends that call me Gambi still, so you're more than welcome for sure.
Awesome, man.
All right, well, like I said, welcome. And because you've heard a couple of these, you kind of know how we get started. We're going to ask you just some questions to get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
Starting out, when did you first start playing video games?
Oh boy, probably when I was about 6 or 7. My dad brought home the old, our first computer, you know, this giant IBM, this big like paperweight of a computer with a giant monitor, the old 5 1/4 floppy disk with MS-DOS, and I'd play games like Pac-Man and Tapper, Alley Cat.
What year do you think this was?
Hardball. Pardon me?
What year do you think this was?
Oh, like 86, 87.
How old were you then?
6 or 7.
So you were born in 79? Oh, you were born in 80. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. But the big game for me then was King's Quest. I love that game.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like this big, expansive universe, even though, you know, it was like I think, what did the floppy disk, like 160 kilobytes or something like that. Like, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a big one for me. I never had a Nintendo growing up, but I didn't have to because all my friends had them, right? All my cousins, right? So, you know, but I remember playing like RBI, Blades of Steel, ice hockey, Excite Bike, stuff like that.
Yeah, classics.
I had a Game Boy, a few games for that. Really big into the Super Nintendo. I got that and played like, 94, 95, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, Mario Kart, Carnage, Maximum Carnage, NBA Jam, stuff like that. So
you gave us that list there. What was what's your outside of 95? What's your favorite game?
Well, I got a confession to make. 94 is the game I go back to. That's all the listeners just dropped off.
You asshole. No,
but yeah.
So it's 94.
You know, 95 is good. It's weird because Super Nintendo was really big up in Canada for some reason. Like, even if you look on the 94 side, the split between Genesis and Super Nintendo, it's almost like all Americans on Genesis and Canadians on Super Nintendo for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if it's just.
You're not the first person to say that. You're not the first person to say that.
Like, I know Genesis came out, I think, 2 years earlier. So I don't know if Super Nintendo just kind of made more of a push up here in Canada or what, just, you know, more marketing. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny that way.
Because 94 is your preferred game, are you from the 94 crew?
Yes. Yeah. And that's how I found out about the 95. Yeah, for sure.
Man, you kept that quiet, man. Nobody knew that shit. Wow. Undercover.
Dirty little secret.
Yeah, man. Kudos. We just broke a story here. Holy shit. Boy. You're a fucking.
There's a few of us. There's a few.
I can't believe you're a 94. I'm shocked.
Oh, no, really?
It's all right. You're an original 95er, right? Because you were you were here the first season, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're original here, so.
Yeah. So we'll come back.
And the reason for that is because I know on the 94 side, Genesis is a lot more, the ROM's easier to hack on the Genesis side compared to the Super Nintendo side. It's a different program, I guess. You know, there's more. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but there's more ways of kind of fiddling with the Genesis side than the Super Nintendo side. So I like the fact that everything was so customizable. You know, you could put your own logo, you could put your own spin on it. That was, you know, that was really cool. And the Dynasty aspect is, super awesome too.
Yeah.
So you're
So
saying with the
that threw me over.
94 league, it's harder to do that? Is that what you're saying?
On the Super Nintendo side, it's harder. Like we have a draft league. You can get the different players, but they only recently found out about getting the players' faces on the cards and stuff like that. So it's kind of a slower progression that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot more tools to mess with the Genesis side and customize it, on that side of things. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we'll come back to some of the games in a little bit, but I want to ask some personal questions. So, are you married? Do you have kids?
Yep. Married for 14 years.
Nice.
Together for 24.
Wow.
Nice. Kudos.
High school sweetheart.
Oh, awesome.
And she's got the same name as me. She's Aaron as well.
Oh, wow.
And
Interesting.
we thought about naming all our kids Aaron, like George Foreman named all our kids George. But we thought better of it. So I got 2 daughters, 12, who's Briar, and 9-year-old Leah.
Okay. All right, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations, man. That's great.
And what do you do for your job?
I work at Toyota, and we make the Lexus RX 350 and the 350 hybrid. And I'm in assembly right now, but I just recently got a posting, so I'm going to be going to a preferred area, actually, materials. So I'll be driving around a forklift and delivering parts. And
is this a big factory?
It's huge, absolutely.
How many? Do you know how many employees on the premises?
There's like 7,000. We have 3 plants. So I'm in Cambridge. There's 2 plants there, and then there's one in Woodstock.
Wow! Holy shit! Yeah. So wait, so that's our next question. You just named 2 cities that I'm not familiar with. Are you in Canada?
Yes.
Okay, so where are you in Canada?
I'm in Brantford, Ontario.
There we go.
Like my
Okay, you're the first one who didn't reference Toronto when you gave us your location. So good job. I appreciate that. So you're actually from Brantford then. That's why you picked that name?
Yep. That's right. Yeah.
Is there anything from Brantford that we would know or anything like that?
Well, have you seen the movie Silent Hill?
Yeah. Oh, shit. Wait, the video game?
No, the movie.
But the movie was filmed there?
The movie was filmed in Brantford.
Okay.
Yeah, all the downtown scenes of Silent Hill or the first movie anyways, were shot in Brantford.
Yeah, I actually really liked that first movie because I played the first game and I loved it.
Okay.
So the movie followed the game pretty well. So
yes.
it was actually a fun watch if you played the game to that. And it's scary. It's along the lines of like the Resident Evil. If you haven't played it, like the first time I played Resident Evil, it was creepy. Like you play in the dark, you're gonna jump. The same thing with Silent Hill. There was some creepy shit in it. So the stuff you saw in the movie was in the video game. So it was actually it actually kept to the game really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the filmmakers loved it because they didn't need any CGI or special effects. Brantford at downtown looked like abandoned and boarded up. It was terrible.
It did. Abandoned and boarded up. And does it snow a lot?
No, it's not quite that foggy.
Okay.
But since Brantford's cleaned up a lot. The Silent Hill block's been bulldozed. We got a nice fancy YMCA there now. We got Laurier University. We got a campus down there. So the young people are back down in Brantford. They repurposed some of the old buildings. The Cineplex Odeon's now a lecture hall. So cleaned up quite a bit since the Silent Hill days. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So being from Ontario, what's your hockey team?
Toronto Maple Leafs. Although for the first 12 years, I'd tell you it was the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay.
Because as soon as I was old enough to figure out, understand hockey, Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers were like just kicking ass and winning Stanley Cups. So that was an easy one to like. But they sold they traded Wayne Gretzky. He cried, I cried. Couldn't understand why you'd trade the best player ever if it wasn't like straight up for Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
We won one more Stanley Cup with Messier, but and then who was the owner? Like Peter Pocklington was saying, I'm gonna sell the team. I'm gonna, move the team. I'm like, I need another hockey team. That's it. I'm out.
Wow.
So been a lifelong Toronto Blue Jays fan.
Okay.
So I watched them kind of rise up, and they won their first World Series. And then the Maple Leafs, they went 10-0 that year to start the season. Going into the playoffs looking strong. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if, the Maple Leafs, they won, just right after the Jays. So I hopped on the Maple Leafs bandwagon. And then,
So you're the problem. You're the problem. That's what.
That's right. Kerry Fraser misses that call on Wayne Gretzky, of all people. And I've been a disappointed Leafs fan ever since.
Well, you guys all sound the same. And you know what you all sound like? Me. And I'm a Flyers fan. So we all have misery. So it sucks balls, and we know. But you guys, trust me, you guys have a much more talented roster than we have. I wish we had the Maple Leafs roster. I'm jealous. You guys should be more pissed off because you're not producing with all that talent that you have.
That's true. That's true.
Absolutely.
We haven't won a series since we had Pat Quinn as a coach.
That's great.
That's a long time.
He's been dead, I think, 3 years.
I don't think we've been in the playoffs in 5-6 years.
No, a couple of years.
5-6 years.
The lockout season. Sorry. The
that season doesn't even fucking count.
We got to the second.
Shut the fuck. That means nothing.
In 2020.
That season doesn't count. COVID year doesn't count. He wants to tell me that they were the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. It doesn't even fucking matter. It was such a bullshit year. Come on, man. They suck balls. Anyway, back to Gambi. So when I have to ask you, because I know I'm not the only person who wonders, like your profile picture. Can you tell us who that is?
That's John Tavares, if he played hockey in the 1970s.
Really? So wait, so where did it come from?
So, okay, there's a Photoshop artist named, hold on here, Joey Tang, and he did this series of pictures of like current NHL players, and kind of made them look like hockey cards, and he did it for Bar Down. This
I know what that is. Yeah, I know what that is. Okay.
Yeah, Bar Down. I think it was TSN or something like that. So I did it for them. So there's a bunch of them. I'll post it up later. There's like Ovechkin, and they've all got these 70s style haircuts and mullets and.
Dude,
yeah, I love the stash and the mullet and that open mouth sort of meathead look,
Yeah, I know, dude. That was one of my life mysteries right there, and you just solved it. I fucking wanted to know who that was, and I just it was annoying the shit out of me. So I'm glad we know.
So it's Tavares.
Right on.
Looking like somebody from the 70s.
From the 70s.
Yeah.
Love that.
All right, so go back in.
So give us some of your NHL 95 history.
Well, like I said, all my friends had Super Nintendos. My one buddy had a Genesis, and he had the 95. So, we'd play it on that. But, my friends were into the games when they first came out. So, we'd play them pretty hard and, winner goes on type of thing. But, they kind of got tired of it. They weren't as into video games as I was. So I'd kind of keep playing, but, mostly by myself.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of moved on to other things, whatever. So, yeah.
Can you tell me what was the last version of the NHL series that you bought?
That would be 2007.
Okay.
On the PlayStation 2.
I think Giroux was on 06, right?
He was.
I think he was on 06.
And that was the last console really that I bought for the long time, was the PlayStation 2, and then I played that pretty hard for a while. I played NBA Street 2. I love that one. Grand Theft Auto was awesome. If you thought King's Quest was an expansive world, Grand Theft Auto was pretty.
Rockstar games. Rockstar games are phenomenal, man. Let me just say they can be phenomenal. Rockstar games.
Now listen, Gambi, back to the question of your history of 95. So you mentioned earlier that 94 is your preference, right? That's when did you determine, because you played 95 when it came out, that you liked 94 better?
That
But
time.
when did
Sorry.
that come out? Understand?
Well, I mean, 94 was such a step up from 93, so, and then 95 came out, and obviously it was a lot different. It was faster. But, there's a few things that kind of bother me about the 95 thing, to be honest. I mean, the goalie getting stuck on his post or his defenseman. It is faster, but it seems like, you let your hand off the gas a little bit, and he doesn't kind of coast as well or as the same as he does in 94. Like, it's a little more an abrupt kind of stop and start, I find. But that's the only really subtle difference that I can find, really.
Do you not find 94 to be more like bouncy? Like when you hit guys, it's more bouncy. Like I feel like, I don't know, I've always felt like when I play 94, it's just a little more closer to like the physical contact in 94 seemed to always remind me of like the NHL hockey from the USA hockey, the one from Nintendo. You know what I'm talking about, where you could pick the fat guys, the skinny guys. Like I always feel like that when they
ice hockey.
Yeah, like the collision part of it was always seemed to be like it wasn't actually a collision; it was more of like a bounce in 94. I don't know why I always feel that way. Like it's just, and even the puck I feel like is a bouncy puck in 94. But again, I haven't played 94 hardcore in a long time. I just make fun of it because I like to, but I got nothing against the game. It's all part of the lineage. So, but
and interestingly,
the hits seem to be a lot sharper, I would say, in 95. Like especially on the boards, there's quite a bit of counteraction. It seems like when you hit guys off the board, but he'll spring quite a bit more in 95 than in 94, I'd say.
Okay.
I guess it's harder to score in 95, it seems. I've heard people talking recently.
It seems like the nets are almost smaller, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Or, you would hit a post in 95 more often maybe than in 94.
Okay.
So let me ask you this question. Now that you've been, 5 seasons now in this 95 league, is it still the same for you? Like, do you still prefer 94? Or is that evened out?
Yeah, I would say 94 is the love. Yeah.
All the love. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you find out? You kind of answered this already, but how did you find out about the W?
Well, I remember Segathon opened up the channel, as a 95, and I jumped on that, and kind of lurking, kind of watching for a while, but it was mostly like Xyz, and nothing really kind of took off, and just kind of watching a while, and then once Ultra Magnus took over, and starting up this league, and all these people started like filing in. I'm like, I gotta get in on this. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. So you do like it? You like it? I mean, obviously you like it. So you're a big fan. You're enjoying it.
I do. I love it. I love the dynasty aspect. I love the customization. You can make it your own team.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's
such
an experience. The whole thing is like just an experience, really. The whole thing.
And you know what? The enthusiasm of the league is, contagious, and everybody's, you guys with your podcasts, and there's multiple podcasts, and everybody's streaming. Tickle Plus with his write-ups, and like it's the enthusiasm is insane. Like,
yes, I agree.
I found out about
we're a bunch of guys. We're a bunch of guys stealing from our work because we're all doing this shit during work hours. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember when I only found out about the 94 online like fall of 2019. Once I got kind of tired of the PS2, I got into emulators a bit, and I was kind of revisiting all the old games that kind of I missed, and I was sticking on Super Nintendo and Genesis and NES. I kind of came back to 94, started playing that a lot more, and then just a random search kind of brought me upon the 94 league, and I'm like, holy shit, people are playing this online. Like, I didn't think this was possible, right? And then, you know, to be there from day one on the 95 side and, you know, sharing the enthusiasm, you know, it was pretty awesome. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
All right. So let me get into your let's get into the actual team and the league part of it then. So looking at your roster, I mean, we all obviously know you got a fucking good roster. Everybody, I'm sure you've heard everybody say the same thing. We all appreciate your roster. We all see how stacked it is.
We're all trying to pick make trades with you.
Yeah, we're all trying to steal from you. But anyway, so who do you consider on that loaded roster the most, not your franchise player, your most important player? Who's your most important player on that team?
Well, I wish I could say Sundin, but it's probably Messier.
Okay.
Messier is probably like 1A and Sundin probably 1B. You know, they have almost identical stats. I think Messier's got like more shots, so you know, Sundin technically a better shooting percentage, but I think Messier's got you know, more power play points.
Are you playing Messier at center? I haven't played you since last. I don't think I probably played you last year. Are you playing Messier at center? Or are you playing center?
I was for the first half, and I've switched him to left wing. I put Sundin at center, but I haven't been doing too good recently, so I might want to switch that back.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you started off swimming this year, and I noticed it's, you know, you're back to 500.
Oh,
so
Timmins is talking shit on you. Yeah, comical.
Oh, no.
I saw you. Timmins is talking shit on Brantford. So watch out for them. Those tards. They're talking shit.
So speaking of this area we're getting into, who would you consider your toughest opponent in the W?
Well, I don't know. Well, I would say you guys said it. Comical Font. She's stepped up as the rival. You know, she's the division leader right now. Played 8 games against her. I think I won 2, tied 1, lost the rest. You know, my problem is I play up to my opponent, so I know who the big dogs are. You know, I know what I'm up against, so I know I gotta like tighten up. I gotta make sure I gotta not play too aggressive, you know, and in case I get, you know, a mistake and then it's going back fast my way. And you know, I have pretty tight games, and I play pretty well against pretty tough players. Lose, but you know, they're fun games and pretty tight. And I think I underestimated Comical Font. And she came at me hard, checks like a demon. Yeah, I underestimated her for sure.
Yeah. So do you play her in 94? Because I know she's playing in the 94 league.
She's more on the Genesis side, and I'm
okay.
Super Nintendo. So no, we haven't met up too much on that side.
Okay.
So yeah, so Comical has been your toughest opponent, and I guess hearing you describe her game, because I haven't played her either. You're saying she's a big time checker. She's on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forecheck.
That's good
Backcheck.
to know.
Yeah.
Because yeah, she's been, yeah, she'll be moving along. Come on.
So obviously nobody knows anything about you. Okay, so this is like breaking news for everybody who's getting to tune into this. This should set all records for fucking NHL 95 podcasts having Gambi on. So my question is, being that you're one of the less interactive people in the league, what are 2 things about the W that you would change, and what are 2 things that you would not, that are your favorite, that you really love?
I love I think the new tier system this season is really good. I think, you know, it's, you know, keeps it competitive, you know, within your own playing skill. I think 8 games is a bit too much to play against one guy, you know, interdivision, and especially, you know, I'm in the lower leagues, so, you know, it's a lot of newbies, it's a lot of expansion teams. They're not online as often, they're not available as often, so it's tough to get 8 games against a guy that's, you know, not around too much. Plus, I want to play the big dogs. I want to get beat. I want to learn something, right? So I want a chance to play everyone. Yeah, I know we're all drafting from the same player pool, so I want to see those players too. I want to play, want to play against the big guys and, maybe learn a thing or two. So
Yeah. Listen, I actually appreciate that perspective because I certainly agree with everything you just said. When I'm playing Sean Bell, every episode we have to say his name.
No, stop. It's not every episode it's you.
When I'm playing Colin, I'll throw nipples in, Tickle Puss, the guy next to me. These are great players, and you learn. You watch what they're doing.
absolutely.
And you try to pick up on those things. So
Sure.
I know what you're saying.
No, Dan.
I definitely, I'm with you there, Gambi. So
I hate doing the dump in. I always want to carry the puck in, and I get checked.
So that's something that annoys you is the dump in.
And I see people dump it in, the odd top level guy, and I'm like, hey, maybe that works. Maybe I should add that to my game. Try that out. So you learn things for sure.
Yes, that should lead into the next question. You got it? Yeah.
So what would you say is your style? Like, what's the Brantford Smokes style that you're trying to implement?
I like to play a puck possession game. I guess I don't like to dump it in. I don't want to give it up. I'm looking for the one-timer. I'm looking to get in tight. In Super Nintendo, it's always the go left, shoot right kind of thing. The quick deke. It's a little different in 95. I've been able to pull it off. Kind of more of a slap deke in 95 compared to 94.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to score in a variety of ways. If it doesn't work one way.
You mentioned puck possession.
Yeah.
Another 94 guy that we've talked about, the Joker, Helsink. He's a 94 guy. Have you played him in 94?
Was that Tex?
Tick. No, Tickiness.
Yes, I played him a couple times. He's a little more on the Genesis side too, but he had a great league set up called the Cup Chase, and back about a few years ago, we kind of had an influx of Super Nintendo players come in and kind of to get their feet wet. He started up this league to kind of get them more involved, and
okay.
He did a really good job. It was you're in a different tier every league. You play different players. There'd be like you could play pick up some Tony Twists and no, I'm describing it completely wrong, but he did super good league.
One thing I noticed, you mentioned puck possession. I think a lot of 94 guys, especially, they try to play a puck possession and a lot of passing type style. So interestingly, it does contrast with Waterloo's style in the sense that they're also puck possession, but they don't pass
at all.
They hold the puck.
Okay.
And
dude, there was a game where Tickiness passed the puck, I think 63 times, and Colin passed the puck 13.
Yeah. So it's very contrasting to like LHX and the Pittsburgh guys, and even some other people who, they'll dump the puck in the corner and they'll chase it in.
I think I average like between 40 and 50 passes a game. I just like moving the puck around. I think some people it just depends on what you want to try to achieve. So I like to move the goalie off his spot. So I think by passing the puck, you move the goalie off the spot.
But back to your style for a minute. When you talk about puck possession, are you a passer? Do you pass a lot?
I do pass a lot. Yeah. I try to move it around. Puck possession, I just mean like zone time. Really, I want to waste as much time in their zone, and then it's not in my zone. That's kind of my That's kind of my style, my strategy, anyways.
So with that strategy, where do you see the Brantford Smoke in 5 seasons?
Oh boy. Well, I'm looking forward to the seasons after the lockout because I think the drafts get quite a bit better.
Yes.
You know, you get more, and I mean, the game in the NHL changed quite a bit at that time too. It got faster. It got more skilled. So I think more players down the pipeline for sure. So the draft should be pretty good. I got a couple players to replace that I think don't make it out of the lockout. Messier and Stevens.
This guy's the same. I think this guy's whole roster doesn't make it to the other side of the fucking lockout.
No, I'm good.
No, you're not. You're not.
Actually, speaking of your roster, who's your defenseman?
I got Niedermeyer and Scott Stevens.
Yeah, so Niedermeyer.
Two Scots from the Devils.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah, Niedermeyer.
Fuck the Devils.
He's around for a while.
Oh, dude, he's got them forever. He's got them for 10 more years. Yeah.
And that was kind of my strategy to draft guys that, had long careers and steady careers.
Yeah.
Kind of, didn't fluctuate too much. Kind of just stayed the course.
You did a great job of that, man. You did a great job. Kudos.
Yeah. Your roster is from top to bottom. I mean, objectively, it's a solid roster.
Well, go to the next question because you said from top to bottom.
So last week we interviewed Derek Sutton, and he actually called you out and criticized you. And part of his criticism was because your roster is so solid. He said he felt like you needed to secure a goalie with your surplus of talent. So, how do you feel about that criticism?
Well, I kind of buy into the Ticklepuss philosophy that goalies don't mean shit.
Okay.
I think what separates the good players from this league and the bad players is goalie control. So you can goalie control a shit goalie just as well as you can a top one. And I mean, case in point, before season 3, Sean Bell offered me Jeff Hackett for Sean Burke. And Jeff Hackett had, a couple more, better years, in the overall than Sean Burke did. But they kind of progressed about the same. So I made the trade. Sean Bell goes on to win the Bruley.
Yeah.
And Sean Burke's like goalie of the year. Now, is that because he, had a better time in Thunder Bay, or Sean Bell just knows how to use him better, right? So, if I had Patrick Waugh net and he gets stuck on the defenseman or the post, it doesn't matter. I think the attributes for the goalie don't mean too much, because once you get control of it, you're in charge of the offensive awareness. You're in charge of the
I completely agree with you there. I completely agree with you. But the only reason I got into the goalie game because I have hobby bowling. The only reason I got into that game because I'm trying to get the one that's smart enough to stop that fucking down B. I'm trying to get that one that is a little quicker. So when I pull the goalie out of the net to go get the puck behind the net, he's not so fucking slow. Do you ever see a fucking goalie when you try to grab and he tries to go behind the net and he's like fucking slow as fuck and then you get stuck behind the net? So there are certain things that I'm trying to find in my goalie. That's why I went for hobby bowling because that's the shit I was looking for. But will it matter? I don't really know because I agree with you because you see guys like Segathon, who Kay Whitmore's my backup to hobby bowling. Well, he had Kay Whitmore. He took him to the conference finals. Like that's because he's so good with manual goalie. Like that's how good he is.
So listen, this topic we're on right now, I've gone back and forth. A couple of seasons ago, I watched Mike and Vic, former league player, with Hasek just crush it. And I'm like, shit, I need a goalie. So I traded for Patrick Rock. And then I had him for a season. And I liked what he did. But I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm watching so many other teams. Granted, great teams. But they're they're winning a lot of games with just average goaltending. And I'm like,
Sure.
I don't know. So I've gone back and forth. Obviously, I traded Wall. There we go. I traded Wall to get some other players. So I got Brantford now, who's not Wall. He's not top, but he's been good this year.
Gami, who are your goalies?
I got Jeff Hackett and Olaf Koldig.
So you drafted Olaf Kolzig to be your future? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I thought he had better numbers than he did. I thought he had a better projection, and then once I got him, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised. I thought his numbers would be better. So
Yeah, I did too.
You'll probably be looking
I thought he had some 90s for a couple of years, but
yeah,
I guess I was wrong.
I look at Kozik, and I'm thinking, what the hell is Sutton talking about? Like, I think Kozik is fine.
but I agree with Gambi. When you look at the numbers, pull his numbers off. If you look at his numbers, I feel like they should be better. I felt he was really good for a lot longer period of time.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got a couple seasons in the 90s.
No,
that's what I think.
So he doesn't.
Oh, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He's got 2 seasons at 81. That's his 2 highest years.
Yeah.
So I completely understand where you're coming from there. So at some point you'll be looking for a goalie. Like I don't think you have to I understand that a 95 and above goalie is going to steal a couple of games for you, but really an 85 to a 95 goalie, I think most of those guys are all the same. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a big difference between 85 to 95. I think you have to have 95 and above for it to be the Hasek effect. You know what I mean?
The difference maker, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that a lot of the guys from 95 and down to 85 are all the same. They're still going to give up stupid plays. They're not going to be as bad as the 85 to 75 guys, but they're still going to give up some stupid shit. They're still going to be slow sometimes. Just that kind of shit.
So finally, real quick, back to the question. What are your thoughts on Derek Sutton's criticism? Your thoughts are you don't value
Derek's opinion. Fuck Derek. That's your opinion. Fuck Derek.
Well, I know he really hoped that I would pick J.S. Giguère, and then a top goal or a top forward would have fallen to him.
Yeah.
Because if I picked Giguère, then he would have got Marleau.
Oh.
You know, because then the forward pool kind of dropped off at that point.
Is Marleau in your long-term plans?
Look at him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you would never think of trading Marleau?
Pardon me?
You would never think of trading Marleau. I mean, the guy's around for fucking next 20 years?
Wow.
Yeah. He's I think he just stopped playing like last year.
Yeah, but his numbers they don't drop really that big. I mean,
he's pretty much
if you're 75 and above, I think you can impact the game. I think that's the numbers. 75 and above, you're pretty good. Now, only guys like Colin can take a 65 guy and make him into fucking Greg Adams. So that's totally different.
My rank for last year's draft was Chara, Thornton, Marleau, LeCavalier, Elias, Hossa. So I was hoping to get Elias. I would have been happy with Hossa, but I was surprised that Marleau dropped to me, and played so good for so long. So I had to take him.
I was on a text thread with Puss, and I think he was echoing the same thing. He couldn't understand why Marleau kept dropping. He kept saying Marleau's better than this guy that you just drafted because so. Why are you not taking Marleau? And he fell. That's a great player, man. Yeah. Fucking great player. I'm gonna try to get him off you. But anyway, let me ask you a question. Who is the harder opponent between me and him for you?
I'd say you, Klein. Okay. Only because I know I didn't play you this year. Yeah. You kicked my ass, for previous seasons. Played Highland Wolf this year. I think I may have even carried a lead for a little bit. I lost both games, but I think they were only 1-goal games. So
there we go. Yeah.
I feel like I tried to, like I said, I try to play up to the opponent. I know.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really think you should be moving to tier 3. There's no reason you shouldn't be into tier 3 at this point. And if this guy's in tier 3, there's no reason you can't be in tier 3. If you can beat this guy, you should be in tier 3.
I did beat him. I didn't go that big.
He kept it close.
He will be.
Kept it close. One
You'll
goal
get
losses.
him. You'll get
Okay,
him.
listen, I respect your game. Absolutely. I think your game has improved, certainly from like the first season.
First season, yeah.
Absolutely.
What was your biggest adjustment coming from 94 to 95?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a huge learning curve for sure. You gotta grab that goalie early,
Yes.
and of course in Genesis it takes a little bit longer. You gotta, or else he gets hung up on his defenseman or his post, right? So I try to read not so much the opponents coming at me, but more my defensemen coming at me, because you can crush your opponents with the goalie, but you can't move your own guys that well.
Yes.
So
I completely agree.
Yeah. Good point. Who do you see as the first non-tier 1 team to win the W?
why? I would say probably Tickness. He's a crafty player. He's a smart player. He figures stuff out pretty quick. I think he's the guy to look out for.
I agree with that, man.
All right. Why don't you answer that question?
The first top non-tier 1
The non-tier 1 team
to win.
the movie.
And I would never pick myself, but I'm gonna say first non-tier 1 person would be. It's between Dan and Tickenist. It's between Providence and Tickenist for me.
Oh, well, I guess
I like Nathan a lot, but I just don't think. I trust me. I respect. I'm in a division with Taipei and North Bay, so they're both two really solid teams. I really respect both of their games, but I think the three of us are all very similar teams. So I think any three of us could really come out of there. But I'm gonna say Providence because if Dan gets hot, he's really fucking good. His manual goalie is really fucking good.
And he just picked up that sniper Brett Hull. So that's going to help him.
So now he's got Modano and Hull. Good job.
I met Brett one time.
That's the most talent Dan's had, that Providence has had. So Dan comes to our tournament. Dan's a buddy of ours.
Yeah.
But his manual goalie is what sets him apart. Like he comes to our Highland Ave tournament, we're auto, and he always protests because he wants it to be manual goalie.
Yeah.
But his manual, and if you've played Caden, have you played Caden yet, Hoff?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He and Dan are good buddies, and Dan trained Caden. So I played Caden the other night for the first time. His manual goalie is very similar to Dan.
Oh, boy.
Very similar.
Okay.
So Caden's pretty good.
That's the difference, man. That's the difference, I think, from the top dogs to getting that manual goalie it's a difference maker for sure.
Yes.
Because you don't have the tricks that'll work on the auto goalie, right?
I agree.
It's a completely different game.
Let me jump in for my non-tier 1 first league champion. Let's see. Interesting question. So next year, Nipples is going to be tier 2. So I'm going to throw him in there.
Yeah.
He's dropping down. Sorry, Nips. And then I'll say North Bay.
We all respect North Bay.
I love his game. I love the diversity in his game. I love its growing. So those are my 2 non-tier 1 teams. Unless Nipples proves me wrong and he stays in tier 1. But
no, he's out. He's out of tier
1. So
let's go to the next segment.
Yeah, so the next part is just firstly, just a kind of a general, we're in season 5. All 3 of us have been in this since the beginning. So just a general question. Gambi, what are your thoughts on this thing we're involved in through 5 seasons? This insanity.
It's pretty intense. It's pretty the enthusiasm is infectious. It's it's tough to get wrapped up in it for sure.
So you've been involved in other leagues, as you said, 94.
Yep.
You touched upon this already, but like, is it just how involved everyone is, the enthusiasm? Is it?
No, it's a little more. It's not as revved up in the 95 league. I would say the 94 side. It's a little more. People come in, play their games. It's not as ramped up. Everybody streams. Everybody's got their own kind of personality to involve into the league. So yeah, it's really unique that way.
Does 94 have like the newspapers? Is there podcasts? Is there anything for 94?
Well, there's a few streamers. There's the 94 streams their own stuff as well.
So nobody's been the next question. So nobody has totally been complete dorks and started podcasts like us?
No.
Okay. We're king dorks then. Us and Magnus, we're king dorks. Thank you, Magnus. You let us express our dorkness. I appreciate it.
I hear what you're saying. It's very interesting.
But it's been around a lot longer, right? Like
I feel like that's
fresh.
I think Raph. I feel like Raph said it was around for over 15 years, so it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, exactly. It's been around for a while. Like it's nonchalant, it's chill. It's like, yeah, I want to play a game. Yeah, okay, all right. But the 95 guys, it seems like everybody just found out about it for the first time. So it's cool to be a part of it. As everyone else is finding out about it too. It's fresh. It's new.
Yeah. Yes. Even though it's a year old.
So
yeah, sure.
Another question about 95 and the W. This season in particular, I mean, lots of new players, comical.
Yoda,
Caden,
Mr.
Mr. Tex, which I call him. I think it's actually Mr. T X, but this is some talent that has joined the league. I think your game has gotten better. So tier 4 is not a pushover.
No.
I think there's some talent in tier 4.
Yeah. Ed definitely struggles with tier 4.
Well, I think, Gambi, you said it. Like you're feeling some of that pressure from some of these new players.
Yes. Right?
For sure. Yeah. These unknowns, they come in, you underestimate them, and they're not the pushovers you thought they were, right?
No. What I've come to learn is when I start to play somebody that's completely new, I'm not gonna try to underestimate them at all, man. There's too much talent. These guys come in, like I didn't even know you were a 94 guy. So some of these guys are 94 guys you don't even realize, and they've have background. Like to play Raph, who's somebody who's been playing online for over 15 years, it's a totally different experience to do it for the first time. This is still new to us.
Yeah.
So it's very different, and we're still all learning. I know I'm still learning, and I'll never act like I'm better than anyone because I'm still learning so much.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you one question before we go on to this next segment. What did your wife say when you were told her you had to do this?
Nothing. She's like, yeah, so it was cool.
She was like, "You fucking dork."
Yeah, no. She's cool with it. Well, I've been with her for 24 years.
Yeah.
Like no, I just know my wife's reaction is like, I don't know what they want to talk to about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My wife she was out here a few minutes ago, distracting us with
laser pointer.
And my barking.
Yeah.
So
they think it's funny. They think it's funny.
They think it's a little weird. They think it's a little nerdy, but we could be doing other things.
Yes, we could be doing a lot worse. A lot worse.
Exactly right.
So I hope you did your homework because I took this next part seriously. I don't care how long this takes. Like, so what Ed and I asked you to do is for this next segment where we, usually it's a kind of open part. We asked you to rank your bottom 10 teams in the league and how you see their future panning out. So changes they need to make or how they need to step up their game. But basically, so we're going from team 34 to team 24 tonight. So this is going to be 3 parts. Next week, the next podcast, we'll take the next ones down. It'll be 23 to 12. And then the last segment of that, we'll do 1 through 11.
Yeah.
So we want to right now, because I feel a lot of these guys, I thought you were a good person to start with to go through the bottom of the 34 to 24. You can give us a lot. I don't play tier 4. I know he's playing some tier 4. So you have a lot more insight on these guys than what we have. So hopefully you can enlighten us. And again, I got nothing against anybody new who's been dropped into tier 4. I have the utmost respect for everybody in this league, and I look forward to hopefully getting one day to play these guys when they move up to tier 3. So I'm not anything that's said in this segment. I'm not looking to disparage anyone. I'm not looking to upset anyone. We're just trying to give our opinion. I mean, again, we're just giving opinions. That's it. I'm not trying to upset anyone.
And one other thing about that, and this is the truth, and we might find someone in this world that disagrees with me, but we're the best players in the world. So if you're 34, you're the 34th best player in the world.
That's right.
No shame. No shame.
So with that, how do you want to do this?
Let's go 2 at a time. So why don't you give your 34 and 33 teams?
Yeah, and
Oh, geez. Oh, boy. You want me to call out the bottom players?
You want me to start? I can start if you want me to start.
Well, I know Minnesota Yoda's still figuring out his game, so maybe him and Matty A at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense because I'll be honest with you. So I'll just to bounce off of that. My 34th, I had the K Vegas Chaos, and it was because even though Matty's on leave, he's the rawest talent in the league. He needs to play as many games as he can. And I've seen a lot of progress through Matty. So I think it's just he needs – with a lot of these guys, I think it's playing. So you're going to hear this a lot. I think with Matt, he's busy with baseball. He's got life. We all got a life. But I think the most important thing for Matty is getting as many games against real competition as he can. And that'll make the most difference for him. That's my 34. Let me get my 33. So my 33 is Minnesota MN Yoda. And I said he's new to the game, and you can totally tell if you look at his stats. He's looking a lot like Matty A. He's learning his way through this game. So, again, nothing against that, but the only way that he can get through that is to just play games, take your beatings. As much as you hate to say it, it's as Gambi, I know you just got to deal with it. There's parts of taking it. I take my plenty of beatings from Colin and Sean, and I take plenty of beatings. It is what it is. We all take our beatings. So you just got to take it, come back, and try to learn something from it. And that's where I see both basically 34 and 33. Matty and Minnesota, they both got to just play more, and they'll get better.
So then for me, all the same too. So 34 is Minnesota Yoda. For the same reasons. I mean, super well. I think I played him in an exhibition. Just to give him some practice. And yeah, I mean he's inexperienced with the game.
Yeah.
So and much like Matty A in that first season, it was a very similar feeling. Like he doesn't know what he's doing. But this is how you learn. As you were saying earlier, Gambi, you kind of want to play the top dogs because that's how you really get better.
You want to see what they're doing, for sure, firsthand.
Yeah, and then for 33, it's Matty A. It's just, he's gotten better, absolutely. In fact, in last year's Shitty Bill, he played me tough in a game. So I think he was playing very good defense. He's just got to work on scoring. That's probably true for a lot of the really tier 4 players that are at the bottom of this ranking. They just don't know how to score. Right?
I agree.
Some of them can play D, which are going to keep them somewhat close. But it's like when they get the puck, anyone that's half decent, if they get the puck and it's a turnover, they're going to score. But with someone like MN Yoda or Mattier, a turnover is not going to cost you,
Yes.
right? In most instances. So
we all picked. So we all had the same guys.
that's
We're
right.
33 and 34, basically.
Yeah.
So who do you have as your next two there, Gambi?
Oh boy. Jeez.
He's like, man, these guys fucking take this serious. We can go if you want to just chime in on what we say.
What do you guys? Yeah, what do you guys? You guys? I don't. I really don't know.
Let me go with mine. So my 32 is Caledonia Corvairs, and it's basically because golfers hit or miss. I can't seem to get a read on this guy. I think he can play, but then he doesn't play enough for me to really be able to tell. He did a great move in acquiring Lindstrom. Lettinen and Thornton are great offensive pieces to build around. But again, like the two guys we already said, it's about playing as many games as you can. I think it's what it comes down to for Caledonia. And for Vancouver, Elko he's another mystery wrapped in an enigma. He plays games in bulk when he can. The most common theme among these lower teams is playing more games. Elias and Redden are pieces that are there long term. He's got to make some moves, acquire more talent, and play more games. I think Elko is better than we see because he's part of the Waterloo tribe, so I'm sure he's been put through his trials. So I think he just needs to play some more is really all it is. And again, everybody's got their own life going on. He might not be able to play. But I feel that if Vancouver, if the Dump Stars played more, they'd be a bigger threat than what they are right now.
And similar for me, it's the same two guys in the same order. It's Golfer, it's Caledonia, that's 32. Just it's the same deal. It's just not a lot of games and not a lot of experience. And then for Elko, it's similar. You can see there might be some skill there, but just not enough experience. So when he's going up against anyone that's flying a whole bunch, he's going to fall into like the normal traps, the dumps, the one-timers that you're not covering, which are different for, you just have to be, when you're playing a lot, you're thinking about protecting those things, right? So those are my next two.
Do you have any input on those two?
Elko beat me. I only played 2 games against him. He beat me twice and shut me out twice. So I had just no offense to go against him. So I think his defense game is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't think he scored a lot of goals on me. I think they were, low scoring, but I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And then Golfer, I had pretty good. We had 8 games together. We're in the same division. We had pretty good battles. I think I'm up in this series. We got 3 more left. I'm probably around this level. I'm probably kind of somewhere around the Golfer and Elko might be a bit better in my opinion though. Might be more than meets the eye.
Yeah, I really think that with Elko, and I think if he played more, we'd see that he's a better player than we're all assuming that he is. Let me give my 30 and 29. So 30 for me is the Tuktoyaktuk Thunder. I love that name. I think it's so original. The Thunder has yet to be brought by Tuktoyaktuk is where I'm coming from. He needs to play more games and improve. Samsonov, Thomas, Murphy, and Duchesne are all pretty good players. He needs some more youth brought in. I think playing in Tier 4, I thought I'd see a little more from Tuck at this point than what we've seen. So I think he's kind of been underwhelming, honestly. So Tuck, I think if he's another guy that if he just could sit down and play 6 games in a night, he might be able to get in a little bit of a groove as to opposed to showing up for 2 and getting swept. You know what I mean? I think a lot of what guys do in this league is we show up and we play 2 games or 4 games, whereas opposed to playing 6 or 8 gives you wit. And don't get me wrong, I understand 6 or 8 is an hour and a half, but you're gonna get in your groove as opposed to playing for a half hour or 45 minutes. So I just think that is a big part of what these guys run into. They don't play for 3 weeks and then they show up and they play 4 games and they get swept. So that's a big challenge right there. And then in my 29 is my buddy Gambi. So 29 is the Brantford Smoke. Loaded roster. I think you've started to figure it out this year. So going off what Dia said about your goaltender, like, can you improve in goaltending? Shit, yeah, of course, everybody can improve in goaltending. Do I say that's what necessary for you to win? No, because I think if you score with the roster that you have, your defense will shut it down and you'll be fine. So I really think, again, it's just about consistency. It's all about consistency for Brantford. I think Colsey can fill a hole for a little while, but I still think you're going to have to find, as I said earlier, you're still going to have to find a long-term goaltender. And that doesn't mean you have to find a goaltender that's 85 and above. You know what I mean? I think I actually really appreciate what Halifax has done in Saskatchewan, what he did this year when we were all like, he freaked. I don't know if you were paying attention during the draft, but he kind of freaked out and drafted 3 goaltenders. And we were all like, what the fuck is he doing? Why did he draft 3 goaltenders? Well, he got a bunch of guys that are between 75 and 83 or something like that. So it's and one of them's not even on his roster now, which is kind of a mistake. But the 2 guys that he has, he can kind of bounce back and forth. If one guy starts off the game and you're down 2-0 really quick, you can throw this other guy in and it kind of hopefully even it out. Does that work? Not all the time, but at least it's options. So so goaltending for you is basically the only place you can actually improve, to be honest with you. I mean, I've tried. I personally, I know I've contacted you at least twice about trying to steal one of your defensemen, and you pushed me back very smartly, man. I think you have the plan. Again, it's just about playing. That's all it is. And now that I know you're a 94 guy, there's no fucking excuses. So pick up your fucking game.
Right on.
Go ahead, Ed.
So for me, my 30 and 29, Salvo Sonic is my 30. I like his game, actually. I can tell he's a 94 guy. I see a little tickiness in his game. His desire to move the puck possession style, but he's just too new to 95. I think he's probably got a higher ceiling than everybody I just mentioned. Okay. Up till now. I think in another year, Salvo could be impressing lots of people.
I don't disagree with that.
With a lot of experience. So
I exited him. Yeah. I played him in the queue.
Yeah.
He's good.
He can play. He moves the puck. Yeah. And then the next person, the 29, is Tuck. Tuck actually split with me this year. He beat me 2-1. That was a close game. And in the second game, I beat him. But Tuck he's better than he was when he started out. So his game continues to grow. But I think, like Mike said, he just doesn't play enough. I think you put in some time. I do think Tuck could be definitely a tier 3 player, easily. Right?
Yeah.
And maybe in a few years, even try to bump
bubble 2-tier. Bubble tier 2. Bubble tier 2. Gambi, honestly, that's where I see you. Bubble tier 2, man. There's no reason I can't see you moving up into tier 2. That's just the way I see it. I mean, again, I put myself bubble tier 1 at the max. I'm not delusional and think I'm anywhere near as good as those top guys. But I can definitely see you in bubble tier 2. There's no reason you couldn't compete with the guys in the bottom part of tier 2. They're just Minnesota. I mean, you're talking about the Golden Gophers. You're talking about Sumter. You're talking about Grand River. Like, I can see you definitely in that area. Yeah. So, do you have anything on those teams you want to add?
Ooh, they're pretty tough. Those are that would be a workout for me for sure. I think they might be a bit ahead of me. But yeah, so, I mean, yeah, like I said, I know I changed my game compared to who I'm up against. So I'll fight hard. My issue is I get down a goal, I'll open it up. I'll I'll try to play the run and gun, and then I get burned again, and then I get burned again, and then and then I'm down 3 goals, and it's like, oh shit, it's over now. So it's all about, for me, I got to play a controlled game. I gotta
slow it down. Slow it down.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. Sure. That's actually the hardest game to play against, especially for me, coming from Highland Ave. We play no penalties. We play fucking balls to the wall fast. We play very similar to Waterloo. So when you're playing somebody that's slow and drags the pace, that's why I struggle so much against Nick from Segathon, Mini Hat-Trick, because he's very meticulous. He's slow. He drags the pace of play. He's in no rush to try to move the puck fast and get it on net. Whereas I'm constantly pushing, man. My game is I'm gonna fucking charge up the ice as fast as I can. Keep going, boom, 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 boom. I'm trying to constantly hit you. Where he's like, he'll come up the ice with his defenseman, pass it back to he'll stay back by the blue line, then eventually move it up behind the net, come back to the blue line. Like, he's very meticulous, and that's the kind of game that gives me trouble the most. So, but anyway, let me go to my 28 and 27, because 28 is very personal to me. 28, the person who is a 28 is an embarrassment to the Highland Avenue Invitational. So Sugar Valley Firebirds.
Wow.
If he would just put the fucking time in, this guy is a fucking champion. One time it may be. He's a 2-time doubles champion, but a 1-time singles champion from Highland Ave. Even though it's with an asterisk, because he won it when he was sober, because his wife could have went into labor at any minute. But he's still a champion. And when I see the loaded roster, I talk about loaded rosters, Gambi. No, you have a loaded roster? This fucking guy from Sugar Valley has a fucking loaded roster, like with so much talent, and he can't score to save his fucking ass. I don't understand. I've known Chris for fucking 43. I've known him since I've been 20, probably. I've known him for 20 some years. I don't understand why the fuck this guy can't score goals with Alexander McGillney. It blows my fucking mind that he is as bad as he is. So Sugar Valley, I hope he fucking listens to it, because he probably won't. I'm gonna fucking take this segment out of this and fucking send it to him so he fucking hears it, because he's a disappointment. He should be fucking better. Sugar Valley should not be in the lower part of this. He's way too talented and has way too much experience. Gambi, I'm gonna be honest with you. That guy plays in at least 2 tournaments a year, where he plays I'm saying that guy probably plays 60 to 100 games a year of hockey. Of hockey. That guy should not be down in the lower end. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm gonna fucking keep shitting on him. But anyway, and then 27, I have Salvo, which is the Rome Legion. They're new to the league. He's put in his time. I don't think he will be tier 4 very long. Doan and Newmanen are very good players to base your franchise around, but he's gonna have to build around those two. At this point, that's the most positive things I can say from him. He knows how to play the game. So most of these guys, you included, Gambi, you guys know how to play this game. So I feel like you guys are not tier 4 players anymore. You've almost locked yourselves into tier 3. So we just need to figure out how to work you guys that are so experienced into tier 3. Tier 4 should be for guys like Timmins. I'm glad, actually for you this year, Gambi, it's actually great, because it gives you a little bit of confidence, get you built up, and then you should be moved into tier 3. And I'm not saying so I can play. I'm not even saying that tier 3 should play, whatever. I'm just saying, because of your skill at this point and the talent of your roster, there's no reason your experience doesn't push you into tier 3. You should be playing somebody like Minnesota Yoda, who's completely raw and has never played this fucking game before. You know what I mean? And I guess we don't have many of those guys, but he is one of those extreme guys, along with Matty A, that just are so... to me, that's tier 4. Matty and fucking Troy City, Caledonia, and I'll take Vancouver out of there and Tuck. I put those 4 and say those 4 are our tier 4 definite players. Again, I'm not trying to tell Magnus to do anything. I'm not trying to change anything. To me, in my eyes, those 4 guys are the actual tier 4 guys. I think you are better than those guys. Nothing against those guys. You're just further along than those guys.
My next 2, 28 and 27, are Gambi. I actually as I mentioned before, your game is solid. You know, we played some tough games. You beat me before. I think your game is just getting in there and playing. You know, and but like what you were saying earlier, it's playing against top dogs, right? That's going to help your game. Probably playing Minnesota Yoda, again, no disrespect, playing against Maddie. I don't know how much your game improves playing those games. It's good to get wins, but I'm with you. Like when I'm playing top players, the tier one guys, I learn a lot and I can
Sure.
pick up on what they're doing. So I'm with you. I think your game isn't that far from my game. Like it's just playing, practicing, and also the point, playing against talent that make okay, look what this person's doing. Let me do that. Let me try that.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing what works. So you're there, and the next person for me is Caden. 27 is Caden. Um, I played him in exhibition. I beat him both times, but you can see there's skill there for Caden. He's got skill. He can score. Obviously not as good as, some other players, but also he defends and he's got some good goalie control. So I think Caden, much like I thought Salva, won't be long in tier four. Like a couple of seasons, maybe as early as season three, or for him, season three, he'll be, you know, in tier three, like firmly. Uh,
What do you think about any of those guys?
Um,
You have any opinion on Sugar Valley,
Yes.
Rome, Caden?
yeah, Caden was pretty tough for me. I mean, it's hard. Some styles just play better against other styles, so it's
That's
hard to kind of gauge. Am I better than this guy? Is this guy better than me? Because some styles just kind of mesh. Some people can just make the adjustments. So yeah, I think Satan got the better of me in our series. I think he beat me more, but
All right, well, I'm gonna go to 26 and 25.
good.
So my 26 is Timmins, the Timmins Targrids. I'm not sure I know how to say it, but I just like saying the what is
Yeah, tards.
Tards.
In
I
our
like the
column,
Tards.
in our column, she said they're
I
tards.
like going by Tards. So she's shown up, played real well, started late, but it hasn't mattered. Berezin and Morris are the future of her franchise. Hopefully, she has some plans ahead of how to structure her roster. Um, I don't think Timmins belongs in tier four. Maybe if they stay for one more year, that would be it. I don't expect Timmins being in tier four very long. She's put in the time. She's shown that she's interested, and nobody should have an issue with anything that she's done because at this point, she's held up her end, and I actually enjoy reading her little write up that she writes
Mm-hmm.
along with that. So her team has some talent. I'm going to be really interested to see how she can play. I want to see how she can GM. Let's see how that goes. And then 25 is Caden, the Hoth Wampas. He's a player. His team with Newendike, Grattan, and Kravchuk, like there's some talent there. Of course, he's another guy. We're going to see what direction he goes. His style to me could very easily be centered around his goaltending, but this guy is not tier four talent. He's better than tier four. So next year I would expect Caden to not be in tier four. Um, so that's where I see my 26 and 25.
So my 26 is the same. It's comical font. It's tards. They she is proving that she's a player. She's got talent on the team. As you said earlier, she's a big time checker. She's on you. She makes it uncomfortable to play against. I've never played her, but I'm hearing what you're saying. And her record is there. She's winning lots of games. So, she is, as of today, 29, 14, 2-2. That's impressive. So, much like Mike said about Caden, she doesn't belong in tier 4. She shouldn't be in there next year. I'm curious to see how she stacks up against other talent.
Yes.
Tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. So I'm curious to see what her record's going to be like playing against some other talent. So that's going to be interesting. My 25 is Mr. Tex. Similarly, his record 34, 8, 1-3, just crushing it in tier 4. Super impressive. How can't you be? Right? Does not belong in tier 4. Heck, I'd like to play him. So I want to see what he's about. So I'm curious to see next year. I'm assuming he's not going to be in tier 4. I want to watch him in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. But Mr. Tex, bringing it for sure. He's my
tough. Yeah.
Have you played him, Gambi? Have you played him?
Played Tux. I think we split our series, so I was happy to come. But yeah, for sure. But it's tough for the expansion teams, to come in and either take up a team that's looking for an owner, or they're picking up the scraps of what's left over. But Comical Font's done a great job of putting those wins together with just kind of a ragtag bunch of players that just happen to be available. So yeah, good on her.
Just out of curiosity, since you have played Mr. Tex and we haven't, what's his game about?
Well, he's from the '94 side too. He's Genesis '94 side. So yeah, he's looking for the one timers. He's checking you. He's hitting you. Yeah, he's a good player for sure.
Okay.
Some of the skills, some of the tricks transfer over pretty good, and he's been able to do that pretty well.
Okay.
Let me give my 24th. So this is the bottom of our part for this segment. It's my 24th. So I'm going to go with Mr. Tex. And he's taken over a roster that he didn't build, and it hasn't hindered him one bit. He's hit the fucking ground running and went. My biggest complaint about the Charlestown Chiefs, whose previous owner was Sammy, and whose team now is the Colorado Wolves, is that Jeremy Roenick was so terribly used and underused for the first 4 seasons of this league that it was a fucking sin and a fucking felony for what was done with Jeremy Roenick. So finally, I don't play Mr. Tex, but I want to fucking kiss his feet because he's finally putting Jeremy Roenick to work, and he's living up to that name. Roenick should be scoring 150. He should have 150 points in a season in this fucking league. So to see when I see him with Sam and he's only got 70 points for a whole fucking season, that's a fucking joke. Sammy, I love you, but you didn't know how to play with Roenick. And yeah, you can sing that Jeremy song all you want, but you didn't use him.
I love that song.
Best. Yeah. And it was great. I loved Sammy doing it. Sammy's great. He's a fucking hilarious guy, but he sucked with Roenick. Roenick should have been scoring, if you look at points per game, I look at, there's certain players. Sakic for me has been pretty close to a 2 points per game player. And I look at, guys around the league that should be 2 points per game player. And some guys should actually be 2.5. So Roenick, to me, is a 2.5 guy. He's that fucking good in the game that he should be your leading scorer every game. so that when we watch the first 4 seasons of this fucking league and the guy doesn't break, I think his high season might have been 70 points. That's a disgrace. Sammy, that's a disgrace. And that should be a black eye on all of Minnesota for that. So all you Segathon guys, you got to own that shit. God.
That being said, we miss Sammy.
Yes, we miss Sammy. We love you, Sammy.
So my 24 is Sugar Valley. It's our boy Chris. Chris, it's been interesting to watch Chris in this league because we know Chris to be a lot better of a player than he's been in this league. Chris is like, I wouldn't say he's a top 5,
top 7, 8
as an Avener, but he's top 8.
Yeah.
And in this league, he's not top. He's 24.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, and I guess it's what Mike was saying. He doesn't play enough, right? Because he's got a good roster.
Great roster. He's got a great roster.
Got a great roster, and his skill, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's good.
It's good enough. It's good enough.
Yeah. So Chris Sugar Valley becomes my 24 for today. So, have you played? Let's see. You played Mr. Tex. Have you played Sugar Valley?
Let's see. I did. I don't remember offhand how I did.
Hour 1, yeah. I mean, this season, he's only played 22 games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's on the shame list right now. He's definitely on the shame list. Yeah, I mean, Christ, Gambi, you've played 51 games. I mean, this has to be, like, honestly, with one of your seasons, this is one of your faster seasons, right? You feel like you played a lot of games?
It is. Yeah. Yeah, I poured it on when I had some available time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. I feel like this is one of your faster seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, so, listen, this was a lot of fun tonight. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Great to get to know you, for sure. We're gonna keep plugging through these podcasts and get to know people.
Let me leave you with one story.
Sure.
Yeah, go right ahead, man.
Please.
So back in the day, late 80s, early 90s, Wayne Gretzky used to come back in the summer, and he would host what was called the Wayne Gretzky Charity Classic, and it was like a charity sports event. He had celebrity come down. I use that term loosely, but he had celebrities come down. At first, it was a tennis tournament. Then it turned to a slow pitch tournament. So also, the Best Western used to sell these like summer passes. So, you'd buy a family pass and your family can go swim in the pool. So, that was your pool for the summer. Well, one time we go down to the pool, the Wayne Gretzky Classic is in town. The celebrities are all staying at the Best Western. So we show up to the pool. There's Brett Hull sitting on a lounge chair, catching some sun. So I'm just running around the pool the whole time, getting autographs. I got one from Brett Hull. Jim Kelly was there. The dude that played RoboCop. And Alan Thicke.
That's a hell of an event, man. That's a hell of an event.
It was cool.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm almost finished.
Didn't see Wayne though. He was nowhere to be seen, unfortunately. But
So growing up in Canada, did you play hockey growing up?
I never played organized hockey. I played like shinny, just on the frozen rinks.
All right, we don't even know what that is. What did you just fucking say?
Shinny?
Yeah, no idea.
What is that?
Just kind of like pick up hockey, just like
Okay. Is that a Canadian term?
Yeah, like just back hard. backyard hockey. It's,
Okay.
limited equipment, maybe you don't have a goalie. You're just kind of shooting it along the ice. Maybe you don't raise the puck. It's just, kind of exhibition, kind of practice stuff.
So before we wrap this up, is there anything else you have to say? Anything? You got any questions?
Questions about?
I want to know how is it that all the tribes existed? Because obviously, you guys are Philadelphia. You guys played against each other. You guys all played like, one-on-one growing up, and then you got, the clan from Minnesota. You got a group in Waterloo. So how did they kind of all start separately and then all come together now?
So I can say this. I don't know if you've ever been to our website, so you can. I'll send you the link to our website just so you can check it out. But so obviously, I got married in 2006, and about 2012, 13, me and my buddies, basically all my friends, we started to have kids. So we were looking for things to do to hang out with each other. So my buddy Dave is down in a little ways from me. So on Friday nights, I used to head down his place. After he put his daughters to bed, after I put my kids to bed, I'd head down to his place and hang out. And one time I went down there to hang out, he had his old Sega out. And I was like, holy fuck. So I put in college football, Bill Walsh's College Football 95. That was the first thing I put in there because I'm a Penn State fan. So I was like, I love this. That's the undefeated Penn State team. I'm like, I want to play with this. And then my buddy Dave was he's a goaltender. He's a huge hockey guy. He's like, let's play NHL 95. And I'm like, fuck, I love that game. So that was the first time we put it in. 6 months after that, I was like, I want to have a tournament. So I contacted as many people that I knew. And I was like, I'm going to have something at my house. If you guys want to come and play in this thing, we'll do for a couple hours. We'll give money to the champion. And then we'll see what happens. And maybe we'll have another one. So the first two were kind of 13, 14, 15 guys and guys that were not really sure. And then once we got into years 3, 4, 5, we got a group of guys that came in and were like, fuck yeah. So we have a hardcore group of guys on Highland Ave between
there's a solid 20.
Yeah, there's a solid 20, but there's 8 of us that we could at a drop of a dime say, hey, Friday night we're meeting at so-and-so's house. We're going to just play games from 8 till midnight. If you guys want to come and hang out. So we have something like that. Nice. We live in an area where the guys that I'm talking about from Dan and Caden are probably only 5 to 10 minutes from us. Chris on Sugar Valley is 5 minutes from us. So we have a whole group. Like of the 20 guys, they all live within 10 miles of us.
And we're on the same street.
Yeah, and he literally is 4 houses down from me. So,
I see.
Yeah. So that's how we started. I mean, I know, and how we got connected into this is I stumbled across Nick's Segathon page, and when he started, there was I want to say 2019. 2019, he sent an email about getting everybody together in Toronto in 2020 for having all these tribes get together, and me, Ed, and my buddy Dave were all like, "Fuck yeah, we want to go to Toronto and play all these guys and see how it's going."
I had a hotel booked.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit, and that scrapped that. So we didn't have 2020, and now they're doing it this fall, and neither of us can go. Are you planning? Are you trying to get there in the fall?
I'm going. I'm in. I'm going. Yeah,
you're going.
Only
awesome, man.
Fuck yeah,
like
man.
An hour and a half for me.
Listen, you need to make sure that you're all doing your part of. I don't care if you got to start a Twitch account. We need as much eyes on this thing.
Coverage.
Yeah, we need coverage on this thing to make sure we're seeing back here because we can't make it, but we want to know what's going on there. And if we got eyes there, you guys got to let us know what the fuck's going on.
That would be awesome.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, man. But like Ed was saying, man, we appreciate you coming on and doing this with us. I know this is going to break records because nobody knows the mysterious Gambi, and we fucking were able to grab you and get you on here. Don't tell them how much we paid you. Don't say fucking anything. But
hey, $10, eh?
Yeah, listen, awesome to get to know you tonight.
Thanks, sir.
We appreciate it a lot. Pleasure to get to know you. And this is the Wolfenstein Podcast, episode 11. We're out.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Take care.